Welcome back everyone to episode 4 of A Cast of Players, The Chronicles of Valtor. And you join our intrepid heroes until they come up with a better name for themselves, and or make a name for themselves, shall we say? We'll have to see. You have joined them as they have set up camp, or at least trying to set up a camp. You've begun to pull out, not necessarily bedrolls, it is noon at this point. This is after you have been attacked by the bandits. Now, you've secured your area and you've checked on the wounded. Some of the guards and the retainers have not made it. There is only one of the lone mercenaries left, one of our Montferrand's retainers who's bleeding out. He's just like, no, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Just gonna close my eyes for a bit. No. And he just slowly fades and goes pale and cold.
Oh no.
Poor guy.
And to this end, everyone is really not in a good shape. Yourselves, the group of 5. Armand looks spiffing because he remained inside the caravan.
Yeah.
And he kneels down by the retainer that has passed away alongside his other knight. Well, we'll make sure that his family are informed of his heroism and his bravery, and we'll make sure that his stipend goes to them. They will be well looked after. Pats his other retainer on the shoulder. He's like, have no fear, Kaywin. We'll see this through for him. Don't you worry. Right, come along, everyone. As you're like sort of like patching up wounds and like bleeding out, he's like, we have bandits to deal with, and we've got them on the run.
My lord, I think that a moment's rest might be wise. I, for one, am leaking here. I've got blood coming out of my shoulder and my body. Your fellas here don't look much better. And as I look at his remaining retainer.
Kaywin will be fine, as I'm sure all of you will be.
Well, I guess you're trusty with your own sword, then you'll be helping us out next time, eh? I'll give him a little wink. Since you are such a great warrior, you can lead the way.
I never said that I was a warrior. I am simply here as the drive, shall we say, that clearly everyone here needs. He looks over at the group of 5, the elf sort of holding this multicolored potted plant at this point. I'm not even sure I want to know. Listen, all of you look worse for wear, I will give you that, but whilst we have them on the run, now is the perfect time to strike. They won't be expecting it, they're on the back foot, and we might have even dealt with the vast majority of them anyway.
Surely, though, if we've just won a very, very good battle, it is a time to celebrate. We've just defeated some bandits, we might go and defeat more. I've got an excellent bottle of Nemosium Vintage in my pouch if you'd like to share that with me.
Do you really?
I do indeed, Mr. Bard. Perhaps we can stay a moment and enjoy the spoils of our conquest by defeating these bandits.
Could you make a persuasion check for me, please?
It is a 14.
I do like the idea of it. What kind of vintage was it?
Oh, an excellent one. Let me fetch the glasses. Do you have some nice glasses in your caravan?
No, we didn't think to bring any glasses.
Oh, well,
Listen,
sure.
no. I'm sorry. As the leader of this expedition, I must insist we head after the bandits now and deal with them whilst they are bleeding like the pigs that they are.
And you're right, it's a great military strategy and you have a great military mind, but you also can see here that your men are not at their best capacity. We don't know what we'll be going into, and I'm sure one as educated as yourself can probably take a moment to realize that maybe we could formulate a plan that you could come up with, sir.
And all that combat must have made you very thirsty.
I, for one, would be very keen to listen to a plan that you could formulate. So I try to gently persuade.
Make a persuasion check for me, please. You can do that with advantage as a result of the assistance from...
Natural 20.
Well, natural 20s don't mean anything for skill checks. They are not an automatic pass, but that is...
Critical persuasion.
I critically persuade him. He suddenly becomes mind controlled. That's not how it works. But what are your bonuses?
I then ask him to give me all of his money.
Does it work like that?
So I get +5, so I'm on 25.
25, okay. Yeah, he looks around at this. He looks over at Gregor just going... with a bottle of wine, looks over at the dead bodies around him, both bandits and the mercenaries.
Even as he's thinking about it, I pull out my loot because, of course, the assumption is that he's going to do that because he's intelligent, and that's naturally what he would do. he wouldn't make a stupid decision.
I'm convinced.
And I take
Rolled a 20.
I take an E and I
this is a great idea.
start to strum a gentle tune.
Fine. I suppose, thanks to my tactical brilliance after all, attacking under the cover of darkness would give us an edge of surprise. He looks up at the sky. Bear in mind that you cannot see the sun at this point because of the trees and the mountains. Like, you know that it's about noon, just gone noon, but it's so dark and overcast that through the tree line and the canopies, it's really hard to tell. It's like, yes, I suppose that would make it in the evening, and we would then, yes, we'll take the devils. They may have time. There may have been some waiting in the wings, as it were, but they fled before our might. They can go and tell their friends that we're on our way, and then that would be a foolish maneuver. You're right, Dorian. I am indeed happy for us to take this rest, and you will be pleased to know that my tactical acumen is already concocting a cunning plan to deal with these ruffians when we meet them again head on.
Beautiful, my lord, beautiful.
Thank you. We'll find a wineskin and we'll share that drink, Gregor.
Very well.
He looks over at you two. You're a man of the wilds, I presume. I'm sure you can forage us something to help bind wounds and salve the damage that has been wrought upon us.
Oh yes, I'm sure I can probably get round to that. He's got like, around his belt, he's sort of got like, you'll notice he's got like vials and bowls and cups and all these various paraphernalia. And as you were saying that, he's sort of starting to get it off and sort of put it quite neatly in front of him. He's not really listening to what you're saying, and he's just sort of starting to open up some of his pouches and grabbing the stuff that he foraged previously. So he's just sort of like, yes. Let me just have a, yes, hang on. He takes a big sniff. He's, oh, yeah, that's very nice. Lovely stuff from the tree over there. The nature always provides, you see. It's delicious, wonderful, yes.
Right. Greg, I'll be with you very shortly. Kaywin, you set up some semblance of what we can in terms of the rations. I am quite packed. It is lunchtime, I suppose.
Already got like red wine lips.
Make sure you save some for me.
Dorian
Oh, boy.
actually just takes some out of your hand. Just has a big
Glug.
Right. My dear, come with me. We must converse away from everyone else, you see. Let them deal with what they need to deal with, and we will just make sure that we are planning ahead at this stage. And he takes you off to one side, slightly further away. So do you think that we are in a region that would have what it is that we're perhaps looking for?
Well, from looking at my father's notebook, he was definitely interested. He marked a couple of locations that he himself wanted to investigate. So I think we're in the right spot. It is very, I feel like there are bandits here. I think there's a reason they're here.
Yes.
How far away are these two?
They've moved out of earshot if you two are together having sort of a drink and you're playing your lute. And they are in hushed tones. Like, they're not exactly being subtle about it, the fact that they're having the conversation. I mean, he's literally just announced that they're going to go off and have a conversation away from everyone else. Such is Armand's way, but you can't hear what they're saying.
Okay, that's fine.
Maybe check the area, make sure we are in the right spot, and then we'll go from there. He turns back around and says, right, Gregor, I'll have a drop of that wine at this point.
Very well. I couldn't find a receptacle, but you can either cup your hands or just drink from the bottle.
I suppose. He takes the bottle and he sort of
So wipes the top.
takes like a small swig, so purses his lips a bit. A good vintage, yes, perhaps not the finest, but have no fear. We'll change that palate of yours later.
I say, I appreciate a man of good taste.
And so you will all be taking a long rest at this point, so you can converse amongst yourselves, amongst other members of the group, and you will all receive the benefits of a long rest. Is there anything in particular that anyone would like to do during this time? It is 8 hours in order to receive the benefits.
I'm going to go about my time concocting some things that I've picked up along the way. So Gideon will be sort of listening and talking and whatnot, but the whole time he's going to be like grinding stuff in a bowl and making things from all of the various ingredients that he has upon himself.
Okay. As you're doing this, Kelly, the halfling, comes over to you. She's like, what you doing? Making some, making sours, potions. What is it? Stuff that's going to be useful. I mean, you all took a little bit of a beating there, but you made it. It's, it's quite impressive.
Well, yes. I mean, it's useful for me. I don't know about anyone else. These sorts of things, I suppose you could say they're a bit like a medicine for me. I'm an old chap, you see. Need all the help I can get. But it's very important that I pull my weight in these kind of endeavors. So,
And, because you took a couple of big hits there. Is that a little something that helps you with that? I've seen some people that are like twice your size. I mean, maybe not twice as tall. I mean, maybe wider, not as frail, shall we say. But they take hits like that and they bang, it's like a sack of potatoes.
well, I mean, looks can be deceiving, my dear, you see. I may look frail, but I know, with the things I've learned along the way and all of my many, many years on this earth, I've established ways of taking care of myself and those compatriots that may be with me as well. So you don't need to worry about me.
No, I'm not saying I'm worried about it. Just I'm intrigued. I like to know who I'm fighting alongside. That's all. And sort of what everyone's capable of. It's useful to know when we're backed up in a corner in a fight.
Yeah, well, I think I showed my capabilities back then when
You cut a man in half.
Well, yes.
He cut his arm off and then he's just...
Better him than me, you know what I mean?
She's sort of like... yeah, obviously. It's just...
Well, it's better to be safe than sorry. You don't want to cut someone's leg off and then they stab you in the back with their good arm, No,
I suppose you're right. Yeah, eyes and ears everywhere.
Yes.
Look, can I help you with any of your foraging? I guess that's what you're doing.
Well, it depends if you know what you're looking for, I suppose.
She pulls up a mushroom from the side of a tree. It's like, Amanita regalis, this one. Now you know that is like to use like the scientific name, as it were.
Yeah.
You know that is a well-known but also hard to work with piece of produce, as it were. It's good for healing, good for applying as a salve. If you grind it into a paste, you can rub it on wounds. It will help the healing process. But if you eat it, that's no good. Don't ask me how it works, but that's how it works.
Yes, well, I'm very aware of what you found over there. These sorts of things I'm doing here are very much for myself. I've established this medicine over many, many years, and it's helped me. What are you looking at?
I'm just looking at what you're doing.
He pushes you away with the walking stick.
Please don't get too close. I don't want to
intrigued.
spill anything. I've been working on this for a while now.
I'm not going to spit. I'm not going to touch anything. I'm just, I'm interested. I'm interested.
Yes.
One, sort of, learned person to another.
I'm of the opinion that the things that surround us in the world are there to help us and to heal us and to...
She sounds like, all right, I'm sorry. It's like, okay, look, I can see that you need your concentration.
Yes.
I'll let you get on with it. I'm just, maybe when all this is over, we can have a little, a tete-a-tete, a little conversation.
Take the mushroom.
Have it. Look, there's plenty more.
Yes.
Just...
Well, I'll put it with the rest of the bits and pieces over there. It might come in handy at some point,
Okay. Right. If you need help with anything,
Yes,
Kelly's your girl.
very well. Thank you, Kelly. See you soon.
She sort of wanders off from you, creating poultices and salves. Over in the corner, you do see Mia the Arma, the knight, in the very plain armor. She's binding up wounds. She's taken off part of the armor, and she's just sat down watching everyone, like from time to time as she's binding wounds. You can see she's just taking deep breaths down by the side of the tree, but every now and then just opening her eyes, looking around at everyone, you can see that she's taking like mental notes. Armand is with you two, so he has another swig of the wine. He's like, well, I mean, you'll have to tell me about some of your exploits, Gregor. I mean, whilst we've got a bit of time.
My exploits? Well, where do I start?
I mean, I would say at the beginning, but I have a feeling it will be quite long and droll.
We don't have time for that.
No, that's what I thought. So give me your most exciting story.
My most exciting story? Well, there was the time I shot a troll in the eye. That was rather excellent. He was trying to eat my dwarf friend who'd made me this very shiny gun, which as you can see is quite potent and came in quite handy. I know it didn't really work in the tavern the other day, but hey, it does occasionally when it does work. It's quite spectacular.
I mean, it seems that it works maybe 60% of the time.
I have never been one for numbers, but it works enough for me to still be alive.
Well, I mean, yes, clearly. I mean, and when it goes, whew, it really goes. Yeah, I mean, he points to Kemi. He's like, Kemi, have you seen the damage that this does? Kemi's just, yes, my liege.
Well, I eventually decided, but I think I was working with the silver hand. I was sick of getting covered in blood, stabbing, murdering, so I decided I wanted to do it from a little bit further away, you see? Because then also, one-handed, you can hold a beverage in the other.
It's very clever, and I approve of the whole not putting yourself into danger type aspect,
great minds and all that.
Like, I mean, when you have to. I mean, you Dorian, you took an absolute blow, and yet here you are, like a devil rising from the underground.
I attribute it to the luck of the Baneri.
Yes, you are from the Union, aren't you? Yes. I still cannot quite...
I stopped playing, as I put the lute down. The lute strings continue to pluck, and there's a slight aura of magic in the air, and then accompanying the lute, everyone can hear like there's some pipes going on, and the music just appears to be playing gently by itself.
Oh, look at that. That's most incredible. Most incredible. I mean, but I've been thinking about this all on the way. I cannot quite place the name. It was Kincaid, wasn't it?
It is Kincaid.
Where have I heard that name before? Cayman, have you heard that name before? No, Malish, I've not. What, you'll have to... Don't tell me, it'll come to me. I'm, after all, as you say, very clever.
Very educated, my lord, far more than I.
Well, I do have the finest education that the noble houses of the Nemosian kingdom can buy. So I have toured with the scholars, after all. I have sequestered with them. I have visited our good friends in the Republic on the Black Peninsula, our little holding there. It's doing quite well. I have occasionally parlayed with some of the younger generation of the households. Bear in mind, he's younger than you. He's like 25, 26.
Yeah.
It's like some of the younger members of the Talari Empire when we were on speaking terms, not unlike now in this blasted war, you see. I've been to the Union. I've been to the Enclave.
Whereabouts in the Union you've been?
Oh, here, there. I've been to Walden.
City.
It's a wonderful city. Many great festivals.
Yeah, Dorian sort of looks at him the whole time, smiling with like one eyebrow raised, and anyone with any sort of nuance would realise that Dorian just sees right through this guy.
You catch the eye of the retainer as well, Kaywin. Well, he's sort of like, he's doing a whetstone on the sword, and he's looking over, he catches your eye and just... throughout all of this. The five are, so the Johan, the halfling who introduced himself to you, and the red-haired man are currently unconscious. Suddenly the potted plant, and in a puff of smoke, the multicoloured robed lady emerges from the smoke just on the floor. Right, sorry about that, everyone. She looks around. Oh. Danos and Johan, eh? The elf woman just, I mean, what can you do? He goes off by himself and Johan's an idiot. Yes, this is true. How is everyone else doing? Wonderful. The silence, she's like, says it all, I suppose. Well, she looks over at you having a swig of wine. Care to share, my dear?
Absolutely not.
I respect that decision, I suppose. She reaches into her pack and pulls out a crystalline decanter that is somehow held on in all of this battle. And she ding ding flicks the side of it, and you can see it fill up with an amber liquid. She pops the lid open and she sort of takes a swig and passes it round to her compatriots. She's like, "No worries, my dear, no big loss."
Where did you learn that skill? Also looks at the back of the bottle again, being like, "Is this off?"
Acacia, what are you doing at this point?
So, I've gotten out my father's notebook, and following on from the conversation with Armand, I've gone more into the forest.
Okay.
I just wanted to look
Which way are you going? This way. So the way that the way that you
The way the
lot were
bandits.
dealing with the bandits,
Yeah.
where they tried to flee to.
Yes.
Okay.
because I want to look around and see if I can figure out a little bit more where they've gone, so I can compare that with the notes in my father's notebook and figure out if there could be anything special off in that direction, because that's what I'm really interested in.
Could you make an investigation check for me, please?
22.
Okay. You see that there are very faint remnants of what appears to be an old pathway, not too dissimilar to the trade road, but much more overgrown. And it is just further down from here. By your guess, maybe 50 years old, potentially more, almost certainly built during the drought, so when the magic was gone from Valtor. You look down, and as you're looking at this, you feel fur brush up against your hand. You hear a voice in your head. Well then, my dear, what is it we found here?
Oh, the road.
Oh, no, I can see that, my love. This is going to go somewhere very fun, isn't it?
Yeah, there might be something down there.
It would stand to reason. All roads lead to something.
Could be roads.
I mean,
Could be... I mean, I've got the notes in my father's notebook.
it does fit Daddy's notebook, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
He thought there might be something down there, and if there are bandits there, it makes sense that they're looking for something, or they found something, or there's a reason they want to be there.
I mean, look, 2 and 2 makes 4. Unless you're Armand, then it makes 5 by the looks of it. Look, are you going to tell anyone? I don't know why I'm whispering, only you can hear me, but it's fun when we're being all spies.
Oh, you're funny. You are funny.
At this point, she's rolled over and just belly is up.
Petting the cat's belly as we're having a conversation. I think I have to tell Armand. He wants to find the artifacts anyway, and if I tell him, then we're going to go down there, and then I'm more likely to be able to find something.
Well, yes, I know, but you're not going to be able to take it, are you? And you only took 10 gold pieces. Yes, I know. The treasure's better than the price. You're a silly, silly girl, and you know it.
I can't go off on my own.
You're not on your own, you've got me.
I've just been thoroughly stabbed.
Yeah.
And you didn't tell me it would be this bad.
Stabbing?
Yes.
I've scratched you a couple of times. I got you ready for this.
I nearly died.
But you didn't.
That really hurt. I don't want to do that quite again. I want a second, please.
No, but and at this point, the cat's sort of, and it is going, you've stood up, and you're sort of, and it's like on its back legs, like meerkatting to try and rub up against your hand. It's like, but, you know, you've got the moxie, you've got it, you've got
Are you
this.
talking out loud? Or is
Yeah,
this...
Yeah, I'm talking out loud.
You're talking
There,
out
and
loud.
like, she's like over here.
Oh, so she's gone deep
Yeah,
into
yeah.
the woods?
Yeah.
So
Okay,
we
if
can't
she's
hear
gone
this.
that far,
Yeah.
Dorian would have tried to excuse himself and would have tried to sneak follow.
Make a perception check for me. Stealth check even.
Yeah. You want me to make the stealth
A
check?
stealth check, yeah.
Ooh, that's pretty spicy. Ooh. That should be I don't have it as it's 15, straight 15.
Straight 15?
Yeah.
Okay. You see that Acacia is here, and you can see that she, well, I'll tell you what, make a perception check for me, please.
That will be a 24.
24, okay. You are engaged in conversation with the cat, and you have begun, you've noticed yourself going from above like a whisper to a bit more of a normal conversational tone. And you do overhear little parts of this, but then the cat looks behind you, like cats do when they see like a ghost, they're like, and you see your cat just staring off behind you, just mid conversation. She's like, Yeah, I know, but all I'm saying, my love, is there's something in there. We know that. I mean, you can't trust the small one. I mean, I know you're small. I know I'm smaller than the small, but what did she call herself? The little halfling.
Oh, Kelly.
None of them are to be trusted, especially...
So is that where it stops?
And then it starts trotting over.
Because obviously I
towards
don't
you.
hear anything the cat says.
The cat
can't
is
hear
not
the cat.
speaking.
No, yeah, okay.
But it's like looking up at Acacia.
Yeah, as the cat
And then-
stops, I stop.
Starts trotting over to you, and you obviously clock this straight away.
Yeah. Turn around.
And I don't make it look obvious that I'm trying to hide or that I was trying to be sneaky. I've just stopped walking, and I raise my head up and walk over. My lady.
I was just looking for, any information really. Well, what's going on around here?
I look around the ground. Did you find something?
The cat is going around your legs at this point, like up on your leg.
I stroke the cat behind the ear.
Well, I think I know which way the bandits are going.
Sure. Is there a path?
There's a path.
I'll have an actual look around myself.
Yeah, make an investigation check for me, please.
No, I won't.
I'll tell you
I
what.
will use my third luck for the day. Oh, it's not
You've
three.
got 2 luck and the heroic inspiration from being a human.
Well, then I'll use my third reroll for the day. So use 1 inspiration, 1 luck.
Already
Oh
used
no,
it.
maybe I had.
I think you have
Yeah.
used it. However, you can have advantage because Acacia is telling you that there is a
Okay.
path and pointing at it.
No.
That's a distracting cat.
You are just like the cat is basically at this point rolling in on the path, and you see it's rolling around. Make a perception check for me, please.
Okay, that is. I do have that. 11.
You do see that the cat is rolling around, looking up at you, but every now and then just looks up towards Acacia whilst it's rolling around on the pathway.
I see Dorian. Dorian's not trying to hide what he's feeling. He looks strangely and nice conversation before.
I get very excited. I talk to myself. It's something I've done ever since I was tiny. It's, yep. Victoria, leave him alone.
She rolls. Again, like just, at this point, she again like just really like big stretch on the side of your or your thing, like crawling up your.
Dorian just smiles and then says, I thought the cat had your tongue there for a minute.
Yes, she's very distracting. I'm sorry about her. Leave him alone.
And trots over towards you. Deception, insight, please.
18.
Not 18.
Skills coming up, baby.
Absolutely not.
You know there's something off here.
Yeah.
But when she says, I do just get really excited, you could imagine that a young 20-year-old girl on an archaeological adventure who has proclaimed that she likes archaeology, you have overheard that, is getting excited about ruins and could feasibly talk to herself. By your gauge, she's wearing quite fine clothes. She knows how to handle herself in a fight, but you know that it's quite haphazard in a way, like she's almost scared of what she can do or what she can't do. And there is that element of, I could imagine like quite a sheltered upbringing would mean that you would talk to your cats or yourself because that's how you've grown up. There's something off here, you don't know what, but you can't, like when she says, I do get quite excited, you completely believe that.
Oh, yeah.
She's not being
Yeah.
untruthful.
But Dorian also recognises that someone having a conversation apparently to themselves is just odd unto itself.
I accept that. You can think that I'm weird. I am weird.
People talk to themselves to process all kinds of things.
So anyway, Dorian says, so, is there a path? I can't see one myself.
There is a path. Look,
Bless you.
Bless you.
There you go. Yeah, from across the camp, you can hear Guinea just going, like, no, not that one.
I want to say thank you for your help. That really hurt. And I don't know how I could have done. I don't know what you did, but thank you.
Thank you as well. It was a joint effort.
Yeah. I think there's something up there.
All right.
I think there's something up there, and I'm really excited about it. And as soon as everyone's good and we're rested, I know there's bandits. The fight was fun, but I think that's not why I want to go to the bandit camp.
Is this path to the bandit camp, you think,
I think so.
or something else?
Both.
Interesting. Very interesting.
We will head back to the camp, but during this conversation, you hear the voice of Arcturia in the back of your mind going, "Great work, he doesn't suspect a thing." And you can almost hear the cat roll its one good eye. Back at the camp, is there anything in particular that anyone would like to do with you two?
I think enough time has passed for me to pick up all of my things and put them back into their various pouches and the hooks and stuff. So I'm now sort of finished doing what I was doing.
Okay. Yeah. You just sort of by yourself at this point? Like, are you off to the side? Are you by like everyone else, or?
I'm just, but at this point, I'm just enjoying the fire.
Okay, yeah.
It's nice. Gregor's finished the wine. I've finished the wine. I am, however, I've got a couple of pouches on me, and I'm putting it back into the vial and trying to shake a mixture together in this strange-looking vial that has a mighty syringe on the end, because I feel I'm going to need some more go-go juice.
Okay. Unless there's anything else that anyone wants to do, your long rest will continue uneventfully. You have like minor conversations. It's very small talk with the people around the camp, but generally you can see that the groups of people are keeping to themselves. Kelly does come over and engage in conversation.
Oh God, I thought you were dead.
No, I mean, you know, like, it's going to take a little bit more than a couple of bandits to deal with old Kels.
Oh,
Right?
God.
I mean, look, again, as I was saying to your man Gideon over there, like, look, you guys did quite well. I'm quite impressed. I must admit, I was a little bit skeptical about your moxie, your minerals, but you know, you all seem to have it.
My minerals are exactly where they're supposed to be, thank you very much.
At the bottom of that bottle?
Why, yes, quite. Do you want to finish off this strange-looking bit at the bottom? There
She looks at it and says, but there's nothing in there.
No. I just fade, disappear into the woods.
Right, okay, look. She calls out after you, like, come on, I'm only trying to be friendly.
Can't hear you.
She sort of just plonks herself down by the small fire. Like, again, it is like past noon, like afternoon at this point, but the sun, it's quite low in the sky, and with the mountains and the overhang of the trees, it is relatively dark. So the light from the campfire is actually quite pleasant to have. She plonks herself down, she reaches into her backpack, pulls out napkin, unfolds it, just cold bacon.
Oh, Kelly.
And she actually starts holding it over the fire, warm it through, looking around at everyone. What? Okay. Armand is in conversation with Kaywin, his retainer. The group of 5 independent adventurers have remained amongst themselves. The one mercenary, like sort of independent that was left is talking with Kaywin and Armand as well. Mia has kept herself to herself. If there's nothing else anyone wants to do, we can end the long rest. It is roughly 7:30, 8 p.m. Ooh. And you're also all now level 2.
Oh, baby!
Well, with your long rest completed and your character sheets most importantly updated, very exciting. Everyone has gotten their hit points, their spell slots back, their rages back, extra stuff that you can do,
Hey.
and we will cover those as and when they become important. But for now, everyone is sort of like, the wounds are patched, a brief token gesture of remembrance is given to the dead. They haven't exactly been buried, it's more of a shallow grave. Now, Acacia has returned to the group and informed everyone of the discovery of a path, which coincides with the direction that the bandits were attempting to flee to, and also where the bulk of the attack came from. So, are you going to leave the caravan and your gear here? Are you going to pack it up and go? Are you going to actually just ignore the path and go off in a completely different direction and cause me to rip up my DM notes?
That one, I picked that one.
Okay, I thought so.
Dorian carries everything with him anyway, so
Sure.
everything's gone back in the pack.
I don't have many things except my wines.
Yeah, I look to Armand the Great to lead us with his inspirational leadership.
You head down the pathway. You continue off of the main road deeper into the forest that surrounds the pass. The tracks of the bandits wind and twist for some time between the group of you as well as some of your newfound quote-unquote friends. You find and track them as you go. And they twist and move for some time, but they soon bring you to a collection of single-story houses, quiet, seemingly abandoned, and just beyond them, by a few hundred feet, a small keep, built almost into the side of a hill. A single tower rises on its right-hand side, and a rocky path winds up towards its entrance, a great door and a drawbridge. The keep is overgrown with thick vines of ivy and moss. There is silence elsewhere. Small lights are on through the windows of the keep. You are roughly 8, 9 o'clock at night at this stage. The mountain curves around to the left as you look at it, and the tower singly rises on the right. Before you, the gatehouse. Drawbridge is down, but the iron door at the front is completely closed. You are arrayed in front of it. As I say, the village just behind you and the little shacks in front are deathly silent.
What is I stop as we're walking. What is Armand?
So he sort of looks towards it, but considers Kaywin from it. What do you think we should do?
I said, we are aware there is a keep here. It's completely fortified.
Well, occasionally the people that settled along the pass, they may have built a keep from time to time. You know, during the drought, it wasn't exactly the most dangerous of time. You know, no magic, no monsters, but as we've seen, roving bandits and all that, it stands to reason that if they had a small outpost here, then perhaps that's what they would have utilized it. I mean, as you can see from the architecture, it is certainly of the old storm era, approximately 70 years ago. So in the early stages of the drought, I mean, we're definitely looking at Nemosian in terms of the stone, which is certainly wrought from the mountainsides here. Well, they got it up quite quickly, I must say. I'm very impressed. It doesn't really seem to match the number of villagers that we potentially see here. Well, there's only a few houses, although potentially it could have been something from even longer before then.
What do I try and discern it, because I know my history fairly well.
Make a history check for me, please.
I will, actually.
Try!
It's a critical history check.
No such thing as a critical history. But it is a trend very well.
And yes, I get a lot of bonuses.
You do have a lot of bonuses.
In history, yeah.
Yes, it is much like Armand says. It's certainly Nemosian in structure. In terms of its age, kind of hard to tell. You're not convinced that it's built in the last 70 years, which is what Armand
I think it's
said.
older than that.
You think it's older than that, but it is certainly Nemosian in design. Okay. Bear in mind that the drought ended approximately 68 years ago, approximately. Yeah. But it lasted for several hundred years.
Yeah.
So it's very possible that this came around. Also, you know from history that styles and fashion, as it were, whether it's architectural or clothing, always come back round.
Yeah.
He's saying that this looks very reminiscent of the Storm era. From your knowledge of the Storm era in Nemosian architecture, they took that from something from about 300 years prior. Okay. So it could be a lot older. It could be relatively new. It's hard to tell because it looks relatively run down.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I just nod along with him. I then say, so, what would you have us do?
Well, I mean, it looks like there's a front door. Seems like a good start.
So you just have us go into the front door and just knock on the door and say, howdy doody.
Storm the keep, isn't that what heroics are about?
Storm the keep?
Storm the keep.
What do you mean storm the keep?
Go in, quite guns blazing, rapiers rattling.
Can I look up at the tower or any of the windows? Do I see any discernible movement?
Make a perception check for me, please.
I make a critical perception check.
Seriously? I don't know what 20s.
I don't.
The opposite.
I've got 5, 6, 7, 8.
8. Okay. You can see that there's some windows. There's certainly more window slits. You could probably have someone squeeze through them, but they would need to be quite small.
Dorian does suddenly turn his attention to Acacia. And he sort of winces at you, then looks over at the tower, and winces again, doesn't say anything.
It's kind of hard to see, like there is light from within. It looks like there's a reflection of glass through these windows. So whilst they are window slits, someone could squeeze through them. You would need to smash the glass. In terms of the tower, it's roughly 60 feet high with parapets at the top. As I say, the mountainside curves around. So from like a visual perspective, guys, the walls of the keep carry on down this way, and this is all part of the mountainside of the Arlay Pass. So it seems like part of it has been built into it to effectively act as almost a wall that they didn't need to worry about.
Okay.
Given it's quite crumbly, can I investigate if there's any sort of structural weaknesses in the walls?
Okay, would you like to approach the keep?
You're gonna blow it up.
I don't know. I want to get a little bit of a closer look just to see if there's anything going on. I mean, I wouldn't go too close, but how close would I need to be? Do you reckon?
So it is dark at this point.
Well, funny you should say that. So because I don't want to get too close, I whip out a pair of sort of goggle-type spectacles, pop on my face, whisper a couple of words, then tap them, but in a sort of slapping motion. Everyone's like, what is he doing? And I go, huzzah! I can see! They do work! Marvellous! And then I can sort of, at a relatively decent distance, survey the castle itself.
So with your goggles of night from your artificer infusion, you have night vision, or dark vision rather. So you can see up to 60 feet in the dark. It is in grey. You can't make out discernible colours, but you can see a little bit more effectively than by anything else. I presume none of you have torch lights out at this stage, given that you are attempting to sneak up on a bandit keep.
Yeah.
I think that would be a fair assumption. Yeah.
Probably wise.
Around.
You will need to get a little bit closer in order to investigate the structural integrity of said keep.
I'm going to head towards this way to see if I can see if this crumbly bit looks suspicious.
Could you make an investigation check for me, please?
Yes, 24.
24. Okay. The tower, the wall is indeed crumbly, but it looks pretty structurally sound. One thing that you did notice on your approach, however, just out the corner of your eye, where the drawbridge is, which inherently makes you a little bit, that's odd, that there's a drawbridge, you do see that there is a very small furrow where it appears there was perhaps once a riverbed.
Okay.
But even in the gloom of your dark vision, you can make out what appears to be pock marks on the wooden drawbridge.
Oh. Can I hop down into the furrow, sort of try and see what's under the bridge?
Sure, yeah.
Into the furrow!
It's a drawbridge.
It's a drawbridge.
But as you get closer, you can see that over time, where it is built up, the riverbed has dried out, and just detritus and rocks have been filled in effectively. It's not as low as perhaps it once was.
It's not hiding a secret entrance.
But you can see, as I say, closer, what appear to be pockmarks in the wood. And what looks like, because you rolled very high in your investigation, what looks like small bits of etched jewellery and rags of clothes draped off the side.
Oh, well, I'd probably try and pocket the jewellery.
So you're now like kneeling.
Yeah, I'm having a look around. Well, I think I was wondering.
You're really right there in front of the.
Yeah, because I was thinking that if there's no discernible moat, then potentially why would they have the bridge down? And maybe there was something underneath the bridge, or maybe there was a little sluice gate or something we could sneak in under the big
I'm
giant
just Dorian's just
gates.
watching.
Yeah,
Once he starts doing this, I will walk to the door of this house here. I draw my rapier and I push open the door. Just have a little peek inside.
It's a small house. There's no discernible signs of life.
But does there look like there was any recent sign of life? Does any of this look like it's been used recently?
Recently, yes.
Okay.
You're not sure how recently, but certainly within the last few years, if not months.
Okay, but there's no like fresh food or anything on the table. No. There's no.
So if you remember what the rumor was and what Armand said is that the attacks from the bandits, or rather the missing caravans, it's been going on for a few weeks now. So you could probably put two together that if the bandits came here to utilize it as a base camp a few weeks ago, there was potentially people here.
Has the jewellery sort of been just haphazardly put there, or does it look like it's very deliberately placed along the drawbridge?
Make a perception check for me, please.
A critical perception check.
Oh!
It looks like it's fallen, as if it's just
Okay.
been dropped.
What, so the bridge is just, the jewellery and stuff has
The
just been
jewellery
dropped?
has just dropped to the floor.
Interesting.
Could you make a history check for me, please?
Can indeed. To be fair, an 11.
An 11. Okay. You've worked with enough materials and chemicals in your artisanry background. The etching and the pockmarking, it's acid.
Okay, very interesting. But that's on the bridge, not, and there's nothing. Is it leading towards the iron? What's that? Portcullis?
It's a door. It's an iron door.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Do I want to go closer to the door? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I'll go investigate the iron door itself, see if this acid is leading somewhere. Maybe there's more acid.
Okay.
Oh no.
Make an investigation check for me, please.
I'm very close now. A 23.
Okay. You can see that there's 4 dials dotted around the door in a strange runic symbol. You do not recognize it. You do notice, however, that around these 4 dials there is acid marking.
Interesting.
There's just a single seam on the door, but there's no handles or anything like that.
Right.
On these dials on the door, there's effectively 4 symbols at north, south, east, west.
Okay. Can I look around to see if there's any kind of opening for where some sort of acid would pour on the poor soul that gets the thing wrong?
You can make a perception check.
Yeah. There's only a 13 that time.
You don't see anything.
Okay.
He's now been there investigating for a little while. I've peeked my head in the door. Dorian then brushes past the red-haired warrior here at the front and does like a quiet jog just up behind him, looking at the windows as I'm as I'm running, just to see if there's any movement or any sign. If I don't see anything, I just carry on.
Yep, you don't see
and I come up behind you and say, "What on earth are you doing?"
I'm trying, well, simply put, I'm trying to find if there was an easier way in than simply opening this door. If you look around, there seems to be some sort of contraption that makes this door open. But what worries me is if you look on the bridge behind you and at these runes, something has eaten into the rock and the wood behind us. Now, I don't want to be touching any of that in case it eats my hands.
Something's eaten into it.
Maybe some kind of booby trap or something. I don't know. It just looks like
I
this.
immediately step off of the drawbridge. I just take 2 steps back.
Surprised at how chill I am.
I step away, and then I look at what do I see? Do I see the bits of jewellery and so forth?
Well, he's pocketed the jewellery, he said.
Some of the jewellery.
Yeah,
some of
if
the
you-
finer items.
Yeah, so there's jewellery that's down on the ground, ragged clothes draped over the side, and these pockmarks sort of eaten into the wood of the drawbridge.
My hand, I forget what it's called, but basically I can create a light. It's a cantrip.
Sure, yeah, light.
My hand glows very faintly, deliberately faint, so that I can make out what's using it almost like a low torch. And I see these pieces of jewellery, and then I look up at the door, and I look at the wood. You thinking what I'm thinking?
Yes, quite possibly.
Those were people there once.
Yes, I'm starting to think that was my conclusion too. Looks like they had quite the grisly end.
Why didn't you get off the drawbridge, you idiot?
I'm just I shall in a moment.
Seeing that they're having a conversation and clearly investigating something, and I think there's something here. I wander over to also ask what's going on
Can you
with
move?
my cat.
Can you move me over as well?
Do you want to come over?
As you move over,
God.
No, don't. As you move over, Gideon, the 4 of you are moving over. You can see the woman in the multicolored dress, like elbowing one of her friends, sort of just watching as it unfolds.
You
What's
approach.
going on?
As soon as you come over, I say, Acacia, we think that there's some sort of acid that comes from this place. There were people here once. I start showing you some of the jewelry, cast my hand of light over it. I don't know what it is, but this door has some sort of mechanism that maybe if you get it wrong, it won't be a good time.
What's on the door?
4 sort of runes, some kind of puzzle, I presume, or some kind of passcode to allow someone to pass. Can I try and persuade one of the other adventurers to try and open the door?
Who are you going to try and persuade?
No, not these guys, no, the group of 5.
Who are you going to try and persuade?
Well, I was going to just generally start speaking louder to the group to try and goad them.
You can try.
So there's 4 kind of runes, some kind of passcode. Now I'm clearly too thick to understand how to open the door, and I don't think between the 4 of us we could possibly do it. Unfortunately, I think the other group are probably going to open the door first, because they look like they probably know how to operate it before us. So maybe they'll go do it, give it a go first, and we'll look really foolish.
As he says all of that, I sort of smell to see if there's any alcohol around you. Dorian hadn't even said anything to you. He starts walking away from you, investigating the wall. How much of a climb would it be to one of the slits?
To one of the slits, it is approximately
To the nearest one.
30 feet up to one of the slits. The stone is smooth, but you could make out some makeshift handholds that could be used, but it won't be an easy climb. It's possible, but it's not easy. Make a survival check for me, please. No?
I mean, it's not great.
What is it?
Well, I've got Jack of all trades now.
Okay,
So
but what is the total?
That's worth at least plus 20.
No.
The total is 5.
Okay. You're looking, but you're just like, even in the gloom, like you can't make out like a route. You can't figure out a good
I
path.
call Acacia over. I say, Acacia.
Okay, yeah.
Do you think you could get up to that window? Did she make a survival check?
Did you approach the door? Or have you-
I haven't yet.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah,
I'll have a
tell you
look.
what, make a survival check.
There's 4. Which is exactly what I thought it would be. However, I look and figure out there's no chance, but I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Go up to the door. Do I recognize any of the symbols?
The symbols on each of the dials are inscribed in Abyssian, otherwise known as the language of the Cahadril, and they correspond with runic symbols for the elemental planes.
Okay.
So fire, earth, water, and air. Make a history check for me, please.
23.
Okay. You know that in the material plane, which sits in the center, there are varying different planes around the material plane, around the material world of Valtor. You have the Shadowfell, the Hollow in effectively the South Pole. You have the Feywild in the North Pole, and around it you have the elemental planes, which will bleed into each other and seep into the material planes as well. And you know that the order is air, fire, water, earth.
Okay.
I've followed her and she sort of shook her head.
Can I also go and see if I recognize the symbols?
Sure, make
Yeah. I'm also looking at the same.
Go for
Come right
if
behind
you
her.
could all make a investigation check for me, please. Bear in mind, if you don't speak Cahadril, you won't know what those symbols are.
Okay. Can I make a history check?
You can make a history check,
Because that's one of my things. My history is very good.
but not that good.
It's an 8.
Can I do a reroll?
With inspiration?
Yes.
Yes, you can, yes.
Very inspiring. Well, it's not much better. It's a 10.
10. You don't know what they mean, but there is an element to it which makes you go, something about it feels like you know, but you just can't. So it's like, when you get a 4 or like you get a word that's on the tip of your tongue, it's like that, but it's on the edge of your brain.
Do you recognize the symbols?
I do.
Do you think you know in which order they need to go? I believe that if these are in the right order, the door will open. I also believe if we put them in the wrong order, we might melt.
Yes.
I have a funny feeling I think I know. Do you have a funny feeling as well? Or is it just me?
I think I know. I'm not entirely sure what the orientation is meant to be.
So for reference, you have the seam of the door like this. You have a dial, effectively one on one side, one down here, and then another two on the sides there. As I say, you know that the orientation of the planes from your studies at least is air, fire, water, earth.
Sorry, can you?
Air, fire, water, earth.
Okay. So yes, I do know.
You seem very sure about it.
I'm sure, but I'm very concerned about getting it wrong because I don't want to be turned into goop.
Well, you need to follow your feelings if you think this is the correct way.
Can I use Mage Hand?
You can.
Can I step off the bridge?
I think everyone should step off the bridge right now.
The bridge.
I'm
All
good.
step off the
Give it a
bridge.
red hot go!
Wait, do we need to be on the bridge to be in front of the door?
Yes, but she has mage hand.
I have Mage Hand.
What's mage
Operate
hand?
it. Operate it remotely.
Yeah.
30 feet away.
Oh, very good.
Wi-Fi
yes.
hand.
Okay, so you
I don't trust how far the
I'm gonna.
steel
They move themselves off the bridge. I'm gonna move us off the bridge.
Oh, here we go. Very well.
Okay, so you step away. So each of the dials is has the symbols of the planes on there, effectively 12 o'clock,
Yes.
3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Which direction do you want to put you? So you know that you need to basically put them in the order of air at the top,
Yep.
fire to the right, water to the bottom, earth to the left. But what direction do you want to point the runic symbols?
What direction?
They're on dials.
Oh.
So each dial has all 4 symbols.
Yes.
Oh, each. Oh.
So there's a dial top.
So there's a
bottom.
dial at the top,
Yep.
a dial at the bottom, dial to the right, dial to the left.
Are there any indications on the door about what would be like a slot around the dials to indicate the position it needs to be in?
None that you see.
And there's no central.
No, there's no central
There's
dial.
no
Okay.
material plane being referenced. So it's just the 4 elements.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna start with the top one
Okay,
and make sure the air symbol is up at the top.
okay. A slight yellow glow comes from the rune as you do so.
Okay. I'll then move to the one on the right, which was fire.
Yep.
I move that so it's out on the right.
A slight orange glow comes from the rune.
I come to the bottom one
Yep.
Take my goggles off.
and turn the water symbol to the bottom,
A slight blue glow comes from the rune.
and then earth. Move that round to the left.
A slight green glow comes from the rune.
Here's hoping I've done it right.
The dials. Tum, 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 tum.
Marvelous. Well done. Well done, you. I told you needed to follow what you thought was the thing to do. I did, didn't I? Yes.
Thank you. I just-
You did terribly well. Well done. Thank you. Who wants to walk through first?
We'll find out in the next episode. Okay, so that concludes episode 4 of A Cast of Players, Chronicles of Valtor. Well done. You figured out the entrance to the keep.
Open the door.
You opened the door, you succeeded in the puzzle, and now you have gained entrance to where the bandits may or may not be hiding. But we'll find out in the next episode. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you to our intrepid adventurers. Most importantly, thank you to you for watching at home. We hope you enjoy this, and we will see you in the next one.